Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining us here at the Vinyl Brotherhood. We have this new album by Faye Webster that we're going to dive into here in a bit, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So maybe sit back in your most comfortable chair, grab a little something to sip on, maybe do some light snacking, dim the lights, get comfortable, because we're going to get started here momentarily. A handful of you may remember way back in the day when we were starting this channel, we reviewed an album by Faye Webster titled I Know I'm Funny, Haha. It was one of our earliest reviews and we still have it up for viewing. It might be fun to go back and not just see how far we've come as a channel, but also to refresh yourself on Faye Webster and what she's all about. But that's all but a sweet memory now. And today we find ourselves with a brand new offering from Miss Webster. This one is called Underdressed at the Symphony. Her music could be described as soft indie pop with light touches of R&B and folk and country, perfectly accompanied by the dulcet tones of her voice. That's more or less what I'm expecting from the singer-songwriter this time as well, but I'm curious to see how she's pushed it for this recent effort. So let's go ahead and take this record over to the turntable and find out for ourselves. All right, are we ready to take a look at this album here? Very blue theme, which I'm okay with because that is my favorite color. Very fun concept. We have like this dress-up doll kind of thing, and every article of clothing comes with like a track name, a track title, and some more photos. Yeah, very fun. Got the lyrics on the back, and you guys need to take a look at the vinyl itself. I've got it right here. I bet you can't guess what color it is. Just kidding. It's blue. Looks beautiful. Sounds beautiful. Great pressing. Very high quality. So yeah, I'm digging it. Underdressed at the Symphony. It's Faye Webster's 5th album, if you can believe it. I always look forward to her distinct blend of singer-songwriter style indie pop and folk. When I was introduced to her music a couple years back, her unique creative voice had left an impression on me, so I was definitely keeping an eye out for this one. Thinking about you, track 1, it starts things off on a very high note, as we're quickly reminded of every reason why we're on the Faye Webster train in the first place. You'll recognize the autumnal palette, including clean, cozy guitar tones, chilly washes of piano, and a relaxed rhythm section, lulling us toward a near hypnagogic state. The 70s nostalgia kicks in early on, but we're still experiencing this whole sound through a kaleidoscope, altering things enough so as to not feel like it's paying tribute to anything in particular. I warmed up to this song really dang quickly, and Faye's vocal work makes it easy, but about 2/3 through the track, through the 6-minute track, I did begin to feel like a captive audience. I don't see repetition as being inherently wrong. It's definitely a tool in the arsenal, but there is a trick to it. You've got to be smart about how you use it. And I can't help but question the way it's used on Thinking About You. While I like the dynamic highs and lows of the song's latter half, they don't quite go high or low enough to make any impact beyond what was already explored in the song's first 3 to 4 minutes. 90% of the time, I'm the guy that's advocating for repetition in songwriting, but this did have me scratching my head a bit. The song Lifetime also suffers from this, only unfortunately that chorus isn't quite as catchy, but don't worry, there are some rebounds in there as well. Track 2, But Not Kiss, is a groovy little number, drawing me in with some dramatic piano phrases, letting us enjoy some of the high contrast dynamics between the tense and the languid. The chorus had me feeling somewhat shortchanged though. It's a cool part of the song, but I don't know that I would have relied on it as heavily as they do here. It's literally just the words yeah over and over again. Nonetheless, this song really captures something, and I still consider it a highlight on the record. But Want to Quit All the Time and eBay Purchase History are the two songs that absolutely take the cake for me. These songs are jam-packed with vibes. I love how easygoing they are, so relaxed and fluid. The instrumentals are practically flawless interpretations of the 70s soft pop. But again, this isn't some cute pastiche of the sound, but rather a meticulous recreation of the aesthetic and then some, if you can't tell from the cherry on top guitar solo at the end of I Want to Quit All the Time. These songs are obvious contenders for my Faye Webster playlist and make for some great nighttime cruising music. You'll love those slick bass lines, the soothing sound of the Fender Rhodes, the tenderness of the vocals, and the dreamlike twinkling pianos. The thoughtfulness is really paying off here. And towards the middle of the album is where Faye starts to have some fun with things. Lego Ring features Lil Yachty of all people. I can't say I was expecting that, but I think this song meshes better than I thought it would. We get some fun vocoder effect on the vocals, as well as some fuzzed out guitar tones, both of which we'll hear again on He Loves Me Yeah. Feeling Good Today is a delightful number that's way too short at 1.5 minutes. But we find Faye doubling up on the highly processed vocals as she delivers the play-by-play of her morning, which includes seeing her brother, opening up all the doors to her house, and wasting her money. It's a simple but straightforward idea, but between some highly enjoyable phrases on the piano and the imaginative production choices, it really does feel like they could have done more with this one. Kind of a wasted opportunity in my opinion. But at least the lyric is amusing enough, which is no surprise since Faye tends to excel in the lyrics department. Never overdone or overly pretentious, her unique lyrical voice does a lot of the heavy lifting on the typical Faye Webster song. She employs a sardonic wit that comes so naturally, it's actually almost endearing. And furthermore, I think many of us would find her work very relatable as well. Her observations ride the odd line between comically mundane and universally resonant, and she creates this level of intimacy with her audience and it makes it easy for us to adopt her as our protagonist for this half hour. So the lyrics are a big plus, which was to be expected, and I must also commend the production end of things on this album. This is a really great sounding album. The instruments sound so warm and crisp and are balanced in the mix. You know I love a mix with a lot of definition, and I was happy to be able to parse out the guitars, the pianos, the string sections, and of course the dreamy keyboard parts. It's funny, the more I think about the many different influences and styles that comprise a Faye Webster project, the stranger it seems on paper, but as a cohesive whole, it just sounds so natural and effortless, and most importantly, extremely original. You don't even have to like R&B or country or fuzzed out indie rock guitars, but you can still appreciate this album because it doesn't come across like a weird parody of any of those elements. It just sounds like a Faye Webster album. Underdressed at the Symphony rather, it has its own identity and a strong one at that, so much so that it makes up for many a shortcoming, and even in those weaker moments, it helps maintain the intrigue. It keeps the album moving at a steady pace, and I only wish that maybe more time was given to a few of the songs at a fundamental level. Unlike what the title may suggest, I wouldn't call these songs underdressed, but well-dressed and nicely elevated. The issue lies in the skeleton underneath. I need a little more substance, a little more meat on those bones. The album feels a tide slight, and as good as the song is, the final track titled Time, it didn't really close things out on a special note. I was really hoping to feel something, but it just sort of ends as if it's missing the actual final track. But you know what? The album was enjoyable enough and short enough that after that first listen, I just hit that play button and went back for seconds. Those unique flavors, they got a hold of me. You see, at its best, Underdressed at the Symphony reminds me of my mother's home cooking on Christmas Day. It's welcoming, cozy, and familiar in the best way, but with some fresh new ideas to set it apart, enough to create some lasting memories. It's a good album, and it's very well done, barring my previous comments about some of the weaker songwriting decisions. But all in all, it's a welcome diversion as we head into the spring. All we have left is to discuss our final verdict, so let's take the album back over to the living area and wrap things up. So ultimately, much like Faye, I'm feeling good today. because Underdressed at the Symphony is a pretty sweet time. Faye Webster turned in some delightful songs, tried out some new ideas, of which many were successful, and delivered an experience that highlights her charm and her instinctual pop music smarts. I really wish it had left more of an impact though. Some of the songs just felt a little slight or dependent on a gimmick for that to be the case, so I must say she's produced a stronger full album journey in the past, but overall it's quite an enjoyable record and should hold over any fan for a decent while, and I'm very happy to recommend it. So today I'll be giving Faye Webster's Underdressed at the Symphony a 7 out of 10. But now I can turn to you, our viewing audience, and ask, what did you think of Underdressed at the Symphony? Where does it stand in comparison to the rest of her work? And what comes next for Faye Webster? You'll have to let me know in the comments, and of course be sure to like and subscribe while you're scrolling down there. And I can guarantee it will make your life at least 3 times better, and mine too probably. So thank you, we really appreciate all of you for your time. And that's all we've got for today, so please have a splendid week. We'll be back with more very soon, so yeah, I guess we'll see you then right here at the Vinyl Brotherhood. Cheers.